Hello, my name is Joshua Brown from howtobecome.com and welcome to this interview training video where I will teach you how to answer behavioural interview questions with no experience. Now, if you've got your very first job interview coming up, or if you're a fresher, a graduate, or perhaps you've never been in certain workplace situations before, this tutorial will really help you. Because here's the truth, hiring managers still expect you to give confident answers to questions like, tell me about a time when you handled a conflict with a coworker. Describe a time when you dealt with a difficult customer, or give me an example of when you made a mistake at work. But if you haven't had a job yet, or if you haven't faced those situations, what should you say? Well, in this video, I'll show you a powerful structure that you can use to answer any behavioural interview question. This is a game changer. I'll also give you some brilliant example answers from my 27 Tell Me About a Time behavioural interview questions and answers pack that will impress any hiring manager and make you stand out, even with no experience. So please make sure you stay tuned until the end and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want more insider interview training videos just like this one. Also hit the like button, it really helps me to create more videos like this for you. And don't forget to let me know the name of the job role that you are applying for so I can give you even more tailored interview tips and advice. Okay, let's get straight into the tutorial, and I'll start by explaining what interviewers really want to hear when they ask behavioural questions, even if you don't have direct experience. Here we go. So let's start with what hiring managers are really looking for when they ask behavioural interview questions. Normally, these questions start with phrases like, tell me about a time when, or give me an example of. The interviewer is testing how you behave in certain situations. Things like teamwork, handling conflict, solving problems, working under pressure, or showing leadership. Now here is the important part. If you don't yet have any direct work experience yet, they do not expect you to have a long list of workplace stories. What they do expect is that you can demonstrate the following three things. Number one, self-awareness. They want to know that you understand the type of situation they've described and what you would do in that situation. What is the right way to handle it? Number two, they want to see that you can demonstrate the right skills and values. Things like communication, empathy, adaptability, positivity, and professionalism. And number three, that you can explain your approach clearly and logically so that they can imagine you handling that situation successfully in the future. So even if you've never had a job before, you can still give strong answers. Instead of saying, I don't know, I've never done that, you can talk about what you would do in that situation. That's really important, what you would do in that situation. And to make this really easy for you, in the next section, I'm going to give you a really simple structure, a really powerful but simple structure that you can use to answer any kind of behavioural interview question with confidence every time. Now let's talk about the best way to structure your answers if you don't have any direct experience. Most people panic at this point and say things like, I've never been in that situation before. That's the worst thing that you could do because it gives the interviewer nothing to work with. Instead, I recommend you use a really simple structure that I call the WOULD structure. W-O-U-L-D. Write this down. First, start your answer off with W, and W stands for what the situation is. Repeat the question in your own words to show that you've understood it. For example, if the question was, tell me about a time when you handled a conflict with a coworker, you could start your answer off with, if I had to deal with a conflict with a coworker, and then next in the WOULD structure is O, outline your approach. So explain the steps you would take in that situation. Keep it clear and logical. For example, I would stay calm, listen carefully, and focus on finding a solution. U stands for underline your skills and values. So mention the qualities that you'd use, such as communication, empathy, teamwork, or professionalism. L stands for link to the role. End by explaining why this approach would help you succeed in the job that you're applying for. And finally, D, demonstrate awareness of outcomes. Briefly say the result you'd expect, such as maintaining teamwork, keeping the customer happy, or solving the problem efficiently. This way, even if you don't have a real life story to give, your answer still sounds confident, structured, and focused on the job role. In the next section, I'll show you some brilliant example answers to common behavioural interview questions using this formula that you can use in your own preparation to be the standout candidate. These answers are super simple to remember and are guaranteed to impress any hiring manager. Here we go. Behavioural interview question number 1 is describe a time when you handled a conflict with a coworker. Now, when the interviewer asks about conflict, they are not looking to see if you've had lots of arguments. They want to know if you can deal with challenges in a calm, professional way. As a fresher or someone with no experience, the best thing that you can do is explain how you would handle conflict step by step. This shows maturity and awareness, even if you've never been in that situation yet. Here is my brilliant top scoring answer to help you. Describe a time when you handled a conflict with a coworker. If I was ever in a situation where I had a disagreement or a conflict with a coworker, I would make sure to stay calm and avoid reacting emotionally. I'd listen carefully to their concerns so that they felt heard, and then explain my own perspective respectfully. I would rely on my communication skills, patience, and professionalism to keep the discussion focused on the problem rather than the person. In the workplace, this approach would help maintain positive relationships and keep the team focused on delivering results. The outcome would be a resolution that keeps both sides working together effectively, and if needed, I'd involve a supervisor to make sure everything is handled fairly. This is a brilliant top scoring answer because instead of saying, "I've never had a conflict," you give the interviewer confidence that you know how to handle it if it happens. You demonstrate communication, teamwork, and professionalism. 3 key things every employer values, especially in candidates with no experience. Tell me about a time. Behavioural question number 2 is tell me about a time you dealt with a difficult customer. Now, when employers ask this, they are checking to see if you can stay professional under pressure and represent their company well. As a fresher or someone with no experience, you might not have yet dealt with customers, but you can still give a strong answer by explaining how you would handle it step by step. Here is that brilliant example answer using my would structure. Here we go. Tell me about a time you dealt with a difficult customer. If I was faced with a difficult customer who was upset or frustrated, I would remain calm and polite, and I'd let them explain their concerns fully without interrupting. I'd listen carefully to show I understood their point of view. I would rely on empathy, patience, and problem-solving skills. I'd reassure them that I wanted to help and work quickly to find a fair solution. In this role, that would mean following company policies while still giving excellent service and making sure the customer feels respected. The outcome would be that the customer leaves feeling listened to and valued, and the business keeps a positive reputation even after a difficult situation. This is a great answer because you don't just say, "I'd be polite." You give a structured plan that shows empathy, professionalism, and customer focus. That reassures the interviewer that even with no direct experience, you'll know how to act in line with their values. Behavioural question number 3 is describe a time when you worked under pressure. Now, here's what the hiring manager wants to see with this question. They want to know that you can stay calm, that you can stay organised, and still deliver results even when things are stressful. If you don't have work experience yet, the best way to impress them is to show a clear step-by-step approach that proves you can handle pressure professionally. Describe a time when you worked under pressure. If I was ever in a situation where I had to work under pressure, for example, meeting a tight deadline or managing several tasks at once, I would first take a step back to prioritize what was most urgent and important. I'd break down the work into smaller steps and create a clear plan of action. I would rely on my organization, focus, and ability to stay calm under pressure. I'd also make sure to communicate clearly with the people around me so they knew what I was working on. This approach would help me stay productive and reliable, even in a busy workplace environment. The outcome would be that the tasks are completed on time and to a high standard, and I'd also help keep the team calm and focused. This answer works really well because it shows the interviewer that you already have a strategy for handling pressure. Even though you haven't been in that situation at work yet, you've demonstrated organisation, communication, and reliability, which are exactly the qualities that they want in a new employee. Behavioural question number 4 is, tell me about a time you had to adapt quickly to change. Now, when employers ask this, they want to see that if you can stay positive and flexible when things do not go as planned. Every job will involve change, new priorities, unexpected challenges, or learning new systems. Even if you haven't experienced this in the workplace yet, you can still score highly by explaining how you would handle change in a calm and proactive way. Here is a brilliant top scoring answer to help you. Tell me about a time you had to adapt quickly to change. If I was in a situation where plans suddenly changed, for example, being asked to switch tasks at short notice, I would stay calm, listen carefully to the new instructions, and make sure I understood what was needed. I would rely on my organisation, positivity, and willingness to learn quickly. I'd reprioritise my work if needed and ask sensible questions to avoid mistakes. In this role, that would mean adapting to changing customer needs or team priorities while still keeping standards high. The outcome would be that the work still gets done to a high standard, and my manager can rely on me to stay flexible and support the team when priorities shift. This answer works because instead of being thrown off by change, you show that you would approach it with professionalism, flexibility, and a positive mindset. All qualities employers love in candidates with little or no experience. Behavioural question number 5 is, tell me about a time when you made a mistake at work. This is a really tricky behavioural interview question, especially if you've never had a job before. The hiring manager isn't trying to catch you out. They just want to see if you can take responsibility, stay professional, and learn from mistakes. Even if you don't have direct experience, you can still answer confidently by again explaining how you would handle a mistake in a workplace setting. Here is a top scoring answer using my would structure. Tell me about a time when you made a mistake at work. If I made a mistake at work, for example, entering the wrong information or forgetting part of a task, I would acknowledge it straight away instead of trying to hide it. I'd take responsibility and let my manager know what happened. I would focus on fixing the issue as quickly as possible, asking for guidance if needed, and then reflecting on how I could avoid it in the future. In this role, that would mean following company procedures, double-checking my work, and learning from feedback to prevent repeat mistakes. The outcome would be that the mistake gets resolved quickly, trust is maintained with my manager, and I become more accurate and reliable going forward. This answer works really well because you show honesty, accountability, and growth. Instead of panicking or making excuses, you take responsibility, fix the issue, and improve, which is exactly what employers want to hear. So there we have it, some of the most common behavioural interview questions and how to answer them even if you have no prior work experience. Now, if you want to take your preparation even further, click that link in the top right hand corner of the video. It will take you through to my website, howtobecome.com, where I've put together a powerful resource, my 27 behavioural interview questions and answers pack designed specifically for candidates with no experience. Inside, you'll find 27 of the most common tell me about a time style questions. each with brilliant example answers that you can use to get fully prepared, especially if you have no experience. These quick and easy to remember answers are guaranteed to make you the standout candidate at your next job interview, and you can download it instantly by clicking the link in the top right hand corner of this video or in the pinned comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I post new interview training videos every week and I'd love to help you land your first job. And if you found this video useful, please give it a like. It really helps the channel grow and it motivates me to create more content for you. And finally, I'd love to know the name of the job role that you are interviewing for. Drop it in the comment section below and I'll give you some extra tailored tips to help you prepare. Oh, and don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn. I've put my LinkedIn link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all the very best with your job interview and I'll see you in the next training video. You've got this.